How did Lucifer choose evil?
How did he what?
If Lucifer had seen God, how did he choose?
He hadn't seen
He
him
hadn't seen
into
God.
the vision before he chose. That's what he had to choose to do.
Okay.
Some people, when I'm talking to them, they'll deny the existence of evil and they'll instead refer to it as a mistake. And I've responded to that, but I would just like to hear how you would, the best response to that kind of thing, where they just say, oh, if somebody didn't do evil, they just did a mistake. Like
My first response is, then don't let me hear you complain again that there's no God because there's evil in this world. That's my first response to them. I don't want to hear any more out of you. If there's no evil, then let's not use it against God. Let's not say catching babies on bayonets or anything. And stop them right dead in their tracks, because they want to have it both ways. They want to say, oh, there's real evil when they're arguing against God. Well, it's just a mistake when we're doing it. Furthermore, I want to know whether they think it's a mistake when somebody does it on them. I don't want them to say, well, I think it's all right to steal. I want that when they worked hard and bought their new sports car, and you steal that, I want to see their reaction. Because you don't tell what people really believe by their actions. We're all hypocrites. You tell it by their reactions when it happens to them. And I want to see, so when somebody steals their wife, or their car, or their home, how they react. That shows what they really believe. Read The Closing of the American Mind by Alan Bloom. It's Alan Bloom, I think, is it? Yeah. Closing of the American Mind. He was a Jewish classicist, taught at University of Chicago, a very liberal school. He translated Plato, Rousseau, had impeccable credentials, and he wrote this book called The Closing of the American Mind about 1985. And in it he said, well, I had all these liberal students in my class, and they didn't believe there was anything was really evil, so I asked them this question. If you were part of the British protectorate in India, and you were in charge of a little province where they were still cremating the wife when the husband died, they would kill the wife and cremate her, because what can she do? She didn't have a husband, right? Yeah, it's a horrid practice. He said, would you put a stop to the practice? It's a good question. The class was dead silent. They didn't want to answer. Why? Because they're caught. They really know deep down that there's something wrong, but their culture told them, don't cram your morals down somebody else's throat, So they're caught. So he asked him again, would you put an end to the practice when the husband dies of cremating the wife? No answer. So he asked him the third time. Somebody said, the British shouldn't have been there. That's not the question. It's not the question. Is it right or wrong to cremate a wife just because her husband died? Everybody has what J. Budziszewski, who's a former atheist who became a Christian by the problem of evil, by the way, and reasoned his way out of it, teaches at University of Texas. He calls it a baloney meter. Everybody has a baloney meter down inside. Is it right to throw out babies in the air and catch them on bayonets? Well, some people do that. Nah, baloney meter goes on. So, is it right to commit mass genocide on the Jewish race? Nah, the baloney meter comes on. My favorite atheist to debate over the years, and I debated for about 25 years with atheists on the university campus, my favorite atheist to debate was a Jewish atheist, because I never met a Jewish atheist who didn't believe the Holocaust was really evil. It wasn't just his opinion. They all knew it was really evil, especially when it's going to happen on you and your people. So I use both of those. Anything else? All right, very good. Thanks for question. I'll be around later.
Thank you all for coming. Glad you made it. We meet weekly on campus. We're actually in 124 across the hall. So if you want to come, if you come up with some questions, like when you go to bed tonight, you're laying going, oh, I should have asked him this. Well, bring your question. We'll talk about that another time. Okay? Thanks for coming. Come back. We meet 7 to 8, and you've got...
Yeah, I just wanted to, Joshua is our director of Ratio Christi, and Lauren is our president, and Jordan, I don't know, you're our director. What is your official title? I forget.
It's like on-campus director.
On-campus director, anyway. And Chavis is also one of our great student leaders. We've been here for about 3 or 4, I think this is our 4th year? Third? Okay. Anyway, we've been here for a few years. This group started actually at Appalachian State by a couple students. They started themselves, and then one of the students graduated and moved here to Charlotte to help start this one. And we were the second chapter of Ratio Christi, and now there's over 50 chapters at secular universities all over the United States, and some even in other countries. I know our first overseas chapter was in Pretoria, South Africa, and I believe we have a few more now. It's spreading like wildfire. And we're really here for, I would say, 3 purposes. One, we know that at a secular university, it's a marketplace of ideas. There's people from different worldviews, different cultures, different belief systems, and we want to show, we want to be intelligent, reasonable, and rational, that showing that the Christian worldview makes good sense. And we want to reach out to those of different backgrounds and have forums like this where they can come, they can hear about the Christian worldview, they can think about it, and they can ask good questions. We've heard a lot of really good questions tonight. There's probably a lot more that maybe were not mentioned. We want you to always feel free to come no matter what your belief system is, or if you think you have no belief system at all. We want you to feel comfortable in coming. We will always treat you with respect and dignity. Like we would want the same if we came to a different meeting of some sort. We believe that every question, every honest question, deserves us to look into it and try to give it our best shot at answering it. Because we value you as people, and we think if you have honest questions about Christianity or against Christianity, we want to spend time and try to help address those questions. Whether or not you become a Christian or not, that's fine. We just believe that everyone needs to think through whatever their worldview they ascribe to, think it through and reason through it and see if it makes sense of the universe. And we believe the Christian worldview does make the best sense of the facts and of why we're here. The second reason why we're here is also to encourage believers at UNC Charlotte and other secular institutions, and help them to know that some of the scientific, logical, philosophical, archaeological kind of evidence behind the Christian faith, so that it's not a leap of faith, but a step of faith. There's a lot of rational part to that. And one of my favorite verses is where Jesus talks about love the Lord your God with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength. And so we need to love Jesus with our hearts, but also with our heads. And we believe we can do that through science, through knowledge, through research, through logic, and so forth. So that is why we're here. We're here for believers, but we're also here for the curious, for the skeptic, to try to address their questions as best we can. And we hope you will come back. We're here every Thursday night.
And we'll hang out for a little while afterward. We usually run over time, but we hang out as long as you want to talk. If you've got questions, you can stick around and talk to one of us. And get our email if you don't feel like asking the question face-to-face. And Dave's got some cards.
We've got business cards. We passed around a sheet. You can put your name down. If you don't want to put your name down and don't want us to get in contact with you, that's okay. I actually work here on campus. I'm the faculty staff advisor. I work in the College of Engineering, and my building is Cameron, and my office is 222 so that's pretty easy to remember. Feel free to come by anytime if you have questions, you want to go out to lunch,